Hello people and welcome back. This week we're digging into how to consider collaborating to invest in real estate. Basically, I'll be sharing with you some key guidelines to consider and stories. I've got stories for days, right? Because I have tried and experimented with all of these collaborative ventures, and I'm really looking forward to you learning all of my lessons and basically ensuring that you don't make the same mistakes that I made and basically just get all the good points and also start your own real estate investment club. Now, if you've seen the video on the 4 types of investment clubs, then you know that you can start a project-based investment club. Now, from my experience, I've seen that most project-based investment clubs are invested in real estate, right? Or more focused on investing in real estate as an asset class. And why not? Because when it comes to real estate as an asset class, for most people, they cannot afford the initial capital required to invest in real estate. Real estate does require a lot of capital upfront, sometimes even more so if you're looking at property in other markets, right? And then some people are also considering, okay, since I can't do this all by myself, let me just collaborate with others to invest. And then beyond just, having access to more capital to invest in bigger deals, it also gives you a great opportunity to negotiate, right? So those are some of the key advantages of investing as an investment club in real estate. Now, there are other ways to invest collaboratively. I have seen people do joint ventures, right? So for instance, you own the land and you can consider doing a joint venture with a developer, and they build, they give you some of the property, and then they sell some of that property, and it's all well and good, right? Then I've also seen REITs happen. That's the Real Estate Investment Trust. Now, a public REIT is usually listed on the stock exchange. What's a public REIT? Basically consolidating funds, right, as one entity to invest in a pool of residential or commercial real estate properties. Now, one of the reasons why it's listed on the stock exchange is to enable liquidity so people can buy or sell shares. And then you also have private REITs where people just decide, oh, we want to set up like an investment entity together. We don't know each other, but the goal is to invest in, say, commercial or residential. But what the key difference for me is, with an investment club, we are considering ownership, right? So it's more of how can we invest together and co-own or own individual pieces, or for lack of a better word, of the real estate properties, right? Now, with a JV, that also comes with ownership, right? Maybe you bring in another partner to develop if you own the land, and then you get to own property of your own, right? But with REITs, real estate investment trusts, they are more about cash flow and liquidity. So in this case, you're just consolidating the funds together, right? And then there's a third party who is professionally responsible to invest in real estate investment properties and then bring back the return for you. So depending on what your goal is, you can consider all of these options for collaboration. So ownership, right? Or you just want to own shares and earn some return on your investment, right? So in this case, if you are considering, ownership, right? Then you can consider an investment club as a vehicle to help you achieve that. So what you want to do is work with a group of people, and if you have similar goals, similar investment objectives, based on all the guidelines for how you consider membership, how you consider your legal structure, how you consider the contributions you're making, define that investment objective as our goal is project-based, own this piece of real estate, term-based as well, maybe after this period, and when we're done, right? So one of the cases, my experiments was, helping to manage an investment club of 40 women. And I really love the story because it highlights a lot of the, pros that you see from collaborating with others to invest in real estate, right? Some cons as well, because honestly, not everything has pros without cons. So yeah, there are pros and cons, but I think in this case, more pros than cons left to you. Now, so with this investment club, 40 women came together and their goal was, we want to own real estate along a very, popular, corridor, expressway corridor in an emerging market. Now, for these women, they started to save on a monthly basis. So every month, each person would set aside an amount of money, right? And it was 50,000 naira on a monthly basis, and they started to save and pull it together and consolidate the funds. Now, I had the opportunity to manage that investment club. So when 40 women started to put aside 50,000 naira on a monthly basis, we thought, okay, this was a great way to just start saving, and then let's go find real estate property, right? And then when we started to search for real estate property, it quickly became clear to us that our budget was really low based on the requirements that we had, because we wanted to buy a property or land or real estate, option that had a proper title in a great location, because we all know that location is everything in real estate. So we're not just going to just get any parcel of land just because we wanted to, contribute or collaborate to own real estate. We're very clear that the land had to have proper title and also had to be in a great location so that it would offer an opportunity for the women to, get some capital gains as the value of the land increases in value over time. So one of the lessons for me is, I think it's important that you start to find the parcel of land or real estate property first before you decide what each person will be contributing, right? In our case, we're lucky, that we eventually were able to match what they were contributing in terms of the budget to what we found, right? And that is a great story to tell. But honestly, I would say maybe start off with defining or finding the property first, doing evaluation of finding the value and then deciding that, okay, this is how much we all need to contribute and ensure that we can buy that property. Now, of course, you can also consider negotiating terms. So in our own case, the parcel of land, which is about 600 square meters, was going for about 3.5 million, right? And we quickly knew that at the rate at which the women were contributing on a monthly basis, we would not be able to afford, or we would not be able to give each woman a parcel of land, because at 50,000 on a monthly basis for a period of 2 years, which was the term we had defined, that would come to 2.4 million. So there was already a mismatch, right? And we just thought, okay, how are we going to manage this? And the first thing we thought is, let's go negotiate, right? Because we're not just buying one parcel of land or one plot of land, because in this part of the world we define a plot of land as 600 square meters. We're going to buy multiple, and with all of those 40 women, it was going to come to about 60 plots of land. So we went and we said, we're not just buying one, we want to buy 60 plots of land, so we want you to give us a discount. And we asked specifically that they said it to us at 2.4, because we knew that at 2.4 we could consider, splitting it for the women so they can have at least half a plot of land, which is 300 square meter, and it will still be something that is tangible, and yes, we did get the discount. We got a 31% discount, and we were able to purchase all of the plots of land for the women. And not only did we get the discount, we also negotiated a payment plan, because remember, the women were contributing on a monthly basis. A lot of them did not have all of the money up front. We had women that were, some of them was their first job after school, some of them had worked for a number of years. It was just an interesting mix of women, but they were unified in their objective to own real estate, in this case land, on a very popular corridor, expressway corridor, right? And not only did we achieve that investment objective because they all got to own that, we also were able to negotiate because, like I said, we took advantage of the power of many, right? And we said, we're buying 60, give us a discount, and we got a 31% discount. And we also got a payment plan. So those women got to pay over a period of time for a land that had great title. So by the end of that period, not only had the land appreciated, they also got a fantastic upgraded title on the land. The land appreciated by almost 100% in value, right? And that is the amazing thing about real estate. It grows with inflation, right? It's something that sometimes it takes time, but if you get real estate in a great location, you know that you will enjoy capital gains. Now, if you now do property, you will also earn rental income, right? So that was it. And, this just shows you the survey plan of the land at the end of the 2-year period. And that's a great story that I'm really, really proud of. Now, what were the cons? So what we found out that over a period of 2 years, a lot of things can change in everybody's lives, right? We found out that at the end of the term, right, 2 years, some women had decided that they didn't want the real estate property anymore. They wanted cash, so then you had to deal with having to find people that would buy, have people that would sell to those that wanted to buy, and those that would buy from those that wanted to sell. Yeah, it got complicated. And then really in the course of 2 years, we had some people pull out to say, oh, I'm not sure I want to continue with this anymore. My goals and my plans have changed. So we had to make provision to let them know that, look, before we can take an exit, we have to have someone willing to replace you. And we did find people that were willing to replace, but those people would have to pay up everything that they had contributed up to that point so that we could also pay you to exit, right? So which is why all of these things have to be defined from the very beginning when you're starting a project-based club. How do we exit a member that wants to exit their investment? How do we liquidate it if they want to exit? Or do we tell them that they have to wait until the full term of that project and then we consider liquidation? Those things are things you should probably talk about upfront because they can become issues down the line, right? So that's a great example with investing with an investment club. And it was ownership, right? It was based on ownership owning real estate, and all the women got to get great titles in a good location. Now, the second example that I'd like to share, this was quite different, and this was in a community investment club, right? So with that community, we got to partner with one of the leading real estate development companies in this part of the world, and across Africa as well. They're not just based in Nigeria, but they are, they have one of the biggest developments in Lagos, right? And this company is called Mixta Africa. So one of the things we found that in this community, there were some members that were interested in owning real estate. And we reached out to them and said, do you have some options for us? And they did give us options. But we didn't just stop at saying, okay, this is the cost of the land, you have to pay this. Because to every other customer, they will tell you have to pay 50% upfront, and then you can split the rest of the payment over a period of time. So what we did was we said, you know what, we want the members of this community to pay on a monthly basis for 2 years, right? Guys, this is what an investment club offers you, whether community or financial. You get to be able to negotiate and take advantage of the power of money. The only reason why Mr. Africa was willing to work with us was because we're not just buying one, we're buying, a number of plots, right? So we negotiated that, and the members got to pay on a monthly basis for that piece of land. Right, and today it's duly owned. The survey plan is, has been shared to every member, and it was just very flexible. It wasn't just something that they had to struggle to pay upfront, right? So those are great examples of how you can collaborate on real estate, and in this case, land. Now, there are stories of people that have done this with property, although sometimes those border on JVs. So because a lot of time it takes a lot to develop, when you want to buy real estate from scratch. So you want to consider saying buying or purchasing land together, and then finding a partner, a developing partner that's willing to come in as a JV partner, develop units on that piece of land, and then gives you some you can sell if you like, and then takes on some to sell if you like. So that's really more like JV, and I haven't really had full experience with that. I think my experience with that is still evolving, and once that is done, I'll be sure to share with you all of my lessons and all of the risk, pros and cons. But one other interesting story that I like to share is my experience with investing in a private REIT, which is a private real estate investment trust. So in this case, I wanted to try and invest in another market. Now, this other market, I had no experience in that market, right? The UK market, I'd never invested in the market before, and I did not want to take that kind of risk with not knowing how to invest in that market. So some people just get into a new market and just say, okay, let me just buy a property here, and then you start learning that, oh, the value of this property is not going to rise significantly in the next few years, or you have to take on a lot of costs that we're not planning for. So I wanted to, take baby steps. So I thought investing in a private REIT was the best way to go. So I partnered with a real estate development company in the UK, right? And within the community, we got a few members that were also interested. And in this case, we unitized the units, right? Or we unitized the investment. So we basically said one unit was £5,000, so you could buy in multiples of units, right? So that way we're able to collaborate with a private REIT to invest in a new market. And it was a way to take baby steps because we're not so familiar with that market. And it was term-based, it was for a 2-year period, and members earned average returns of 8 to 10% over the period of investing in that REIT, right? So I just wanted to come and share with you different ways you can consider collaborating together with your investment club if you're considering ownership to invest in real estate, or even with an investment club, you can also consider investing in a private REIT, right? So you can decide to do your investments by yourself, or you can decide to collaboratively or consolidate and then invest as one entity into the REIT in another market that is more stable and offers you returns or an opportunity to earn foreign currency income, right? So yeah, those are my stories, and I hope this shares with you what you should consider when you're thinking about how to collaborate to invest in real estate. Do you have any questions? Is this something you're doing right now? Please share with me in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video.